Thanks for clicking on my face. Don't forget to click on the subscribe button so we can stay together forever like shooting stars in the night sky. Isn't there like a song? Wasn't that like Paramore or something? Or Haley or shooting stars in the night sky? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, that's not what this is based on. This is a LeBron James movie. It's actually, I know this is technically based on a book, at least that's what it claims to be based on, but if we're being real honest, those of us who have seen movies before, this is more than a game. It's just like the movie version of, I don't know how to say it. It's not a documentary anymore. It's an actual story. But like, yes, I've seen this before when it was called More Than a Game. Now it has actors in it. So there we go. It has audio description and it's on Peacock where it premiered. It's kind of sad that this didn't go to theaters. However, I know they're trying to obviously line this up with the NBA Finals, and this is Spider-Verse weekend. This movie, I don't know what this would have done at the box office, but it doesn't have any stars in it, so it's entirely based on how much do you like LeBron James. So, and for a lot of people, that answer is not a lot. For some people, it's a lot. Some people, it's never going to happen. Which is sad, because actually this is a pretty good movie. I really enjoyed this. I think I enjoy basketball movies anyway. It's definitely, of the sports, my favorite one. Like, if somebody was like, let's watch sports, I'd be like, please let it be basketball. Please let it be basketball. Yeah, it's the one I enjoy the most. Playing in real life back when I could see to shoot into a hoop. I don't understand it. I know there are blind people that play basketball. It just boggles my mind. I just, good for you. But I know I wasn't even that good before. But luckily, these kids were great. And that's what their story is that back when LeBron was in high school, he actually had paired up with some kids that were really good. It's kind of weird that he went super far and they went like kind of like they kind of got their shot. I mean, a lot of them got to play college ball and then like European ball, so they were off over in Europe. But I mean, none of them are LeBron. I mean, I guess they can't all come from the same high school. It'd be weird if that would be one hell of a story, though. Like, these four kids that grew up together, all being drafted in the NBA and all playing for different teams. I mean, why not? We've got like multiple Manning brothers running quarterbacks on different teams. It's really not that weird when you think about it. If you can create two championship quarterbacks in the same family, I don't understand how you can't create more than one kid off of the same basketball team to put into the NBA. But anyway, this is their story. This is how they got started. This is how they got put together. They were on a team before they were even freshmen in high school. Before they were competing on a high school team, they were on a team called Shooting Stars, where their Coach Drew, played by Wood Harris, who's also the father of Little Drew, who's played by Caleb McLaughlin from Stranger Things. He put these boys together, and he at one point gets to talk about how he kind of did that and how he discovered each one of them and sort of smashed them together, and they all became friends, and they just like live, breathe, eat, sleep, drink, poop basketball. And even when they're not like playing basketball on the court, they're playing basketball video games. So they do nothing but basketball all the time, ball hard. And then they want to all go. They basically want to get picked up as a squad, and all get to play together. And they're looking at this one team. It's their local team. It's where they would go naturally if they were to just go to public school. But that coach doesn't like Drew. That coach thinks Drew is too small and is going to be on the JV team. And Drew doesn't like that. So Drew fights to find a spot on another team where all four of them can make varsity together. And the other kids go along with it because they know that they're a squad and the offer is there. They all get scholarships and they go to this Catholic school and end up on that basketball team with a new coach they've just acquired out of the NCAA, played by Dermot Mulroney. And he, at first, doesn't quite see the magic, doesn't quite understand the magic. He's kind of feeling out this team, so he goes with the standard sort of seniors, you know, like the upperclassmen play, and the kids are frustrated because they're on the bench, and they're like, we'd be winning right now if we were on the court. And then he finally kind of sees what it is that they do and the magic that they create together, and eventually embraces it, and everybody's mad at him because it's like he's starting 4 freshmen. And those people kind of start shutting up, though, once they start winning. Once they start winning, you know, districts and then state. So, yeah, they end up winning quite a lot, becoming the number 1 high school team in the country, which is, it got LeBron James noticed when he was a high school player. He was in Sports Illustrated when he was in high school. So that's the King James has always been sort of well known, even before he stepped foot into the NBA, onto the NBA court. There's a scene where he talks about sort of how he has to go hang out at a party when there's like other like NBA players there, and he's just like a junior in high school, and he's just been invited to like an NBA party. So yeah, he was always on the come up, and it also becomes a little bit of a problem, and that's what the film sort of explores, is what happens when one of you ends up drawing all the attention. There's a little part that gets kind of frustrating, but luckily we all know it works out. Like, that's one of the things. It's like watching Air. It's like, oh my god, I wonder, are we gonna get the Air Jordans? Are they gonna make them or not? I don't know. The suspense is killing me. It's like, I don't know what's gonna happen to LeBron. But there's a point in the film where there's a little bit of conflict. LeBron does something. I don't want to ruin it because you probably don't know. So it's the most suspenseful thing that will happen in the movie, but at the same time, it's also not suspenseful at all because it happened to LeBron James. So you're just like, I have a feeling this is going to work out in the end. But they did the best that they could with it. I mean, all things considered, yeah, I mean, that's the thing about biopics, is that when you have somebody who's down and out, you know, you're trying to make a biopic about a musician, and it's like, will he make his big album? I don't know. Will he? Is he going to get to sing on a stage? Oh, the drama's killing me. And you're like, he's got like 30 Grammy Awards, and you're like, I don't know. Yeah. Everything worked out in the end. Otherwise, this movie wouldn't be happening. So, it's got the kids are all good. What I loved about the film was that it's not a LeBron James film. This is not like a biopic. It feels like it is, and it kind of wants to be. And at times, you could single it out. Like, if you only watched parts of this film, you would feel like you're watching a LeBron James biopic. But it does a really good job of bouncing around and focusing on this dynamic between these 4 boys. And it does a lot with Drew as a character, with Caleb McLaughlin, and the fact that he sees himself sort of as he's got like a chip on his shoulder, you know, and he's got to fight because everybody counts him out. They see him as too short, too small, and that he's not going to get a growth spurt, and he's never going to play real ball, and he doesn't have necessarily that initial gift that LeBron has, where people look at LeBron and they go, oh, well, he plays ball. Drew has to fight for everything along the way. So we get a little bit of that narrative, as well as focusing on the other guys and the other people who come in on the team. They round out finally, instead of becoming the four, they become the five when they add a fifth player to the team, which is kind of interesting and changes the dynamic. So that way they can have a solid starting five, that they had this, they absorbed this other kid in the lineup. Must have sucked to be on the bench for that team, but nobody remembers the bench players. There was no, at the end of the film, there was no like, where are the bench players? It's like, I don't even know who's on the bench. But it doesn't, it balances it nicely. Yes, it does give LeBron a little bit more screen time because he's the familiar one. So we get to explore him and like his relationship with his girlfriend, Kimberly. We don't really get that from the other characters. We do get little like blurbs of their life, meetings with their parents. Obviously it helps that Drew, his dad, is a coach. Wood Harris is one of the more familiar names in the film, and he's also one of the larger parts. So it does keep Caleb McLaughlin, by the way, who is, of the four boys, the one with the most screen credits, having been on Stranger Things. So he's the most recognizable boy. So the kid playing LeBron is in his acting debut. However, Caleb is coming off of being Lucas on Stranger Things. So one of these things is not like the other. Anyway, so all of that is made to give you the feel of, it is about this team. It really is about how this team became the best team in the country. And it happened to have LeBron James. And what that was like, what that dynamic was like. So I think this is a film that's going to be easily written off and thrown away because it's on Peacock and people are going to be like, I don't really care about this. But I think that's a mistake. I liked it. I think it's fun. It's interesting. I think the direction here was pretty good. The choices that they were making were pretty solid. It paces itself really well. The only thing that I would say is that I've seen this because I've seen More Than a Game. So it kind of acts like More Than a Game didn't happen. But people have seen More Than a Game. This film kind of acts like it's like from another perspective. And there was already like a whole documentary that went into this and talked to all these kids and all these people about their experience. And I interviewed the adult versions of these characters back in the day. And what's really cool about this film is that they all get to have sort of like a cameo appearance. And it explains to you, and actually it explains to you in the audio description, like where they were and who they played. So just in case you didn't catch it, because obviously you wouldn't catch somebody just sitting in the crowd, there's a little thing at the end of the film when we're catching up with Where Are They Now, where it says that, so-and-so was also in the film playing this role. And you're like, oh, that was that person. Oh, okay. And they're all like really small roles, so it's actually hard to even remember that they existed. But it does tell you where each one of them was during the course of the film, except LeBron. LeBron did not come back for this film. LeBron didn't cameo as like a dad in the audience, like, yeah, let's go, son. Yeah. I think it would have been a little too obvious. He would have been a little bit too recognizable. People would be like, is that LeBron? What's he doing up there in the stands? But I feel like this was probably made with his blessing. I can't imagine it wasn't. It doesn't make him look bad. We do learn that when he gets the tattoo, which is hilarious because I mean, he's a kid. I'm just like, when did a kid? How do you convince people to give him a tattoo at that age? But I don't know. It is what it is. Um, if I had hopes and dreams for the audio description, it just would have been differentiating the boys a little bit more, uh, just in terms of what they look like, how tall they are, how much taller, who's taller, who's shorter. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like where do they stand? Where do they stand against other people? Height becomes a huge thing in basketball. So a lot of times when you're playing, uh, you know, K, like any K through 12 sports, whether they're in school or out of school, it's a lot of times it's about how big you are. You know, football, you want linemen who look like they can actually defend the quarterback. You don't want tiny little linemen. So people who grow up really quickly and have size behind them usually end up becoming linemen. Those that get their growth spurts. So I get like LeBron, I kind of got the vibe he hit his spurt real fast, but I don't really know where the other boys stood in terms of him. Obviously, it makes a big point of letting us know that Drew is short, but the other two boys, Chiron and that, I don't know, the other, Willie. I'm gonna go with Willie. Um, they, I don't know. I don't know how much shorter than LeBron they are and how much taller than Drew they are. To me, it's just they're somewhere in the middle, which maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're average height for boys of that age. But those are the kind of things that I think about when I watch a basketball movie. Is height becomes a big thing. You know, because you can block other shooters. There's always that joke about just picking tall kids in high school, and even if they can't play ball, just teaching them to play ball so that they can get rebounds. You know, if you see a 7-footer walking around your high school, it doesn't really matter if he can play basketball. You just teach him the rules, teach him about three in the key, and have him go get some rebounds. Because he's like a foot taller than everybody else, so he's got a much better shot of getting rebounds. Doesn't really matter if he can shoot. Just go get the ball, you know? So yeah, it can be a lot about height, which is the point Drew makes, is that it's not about height. Sometimes it's about talent, and I've got the talent, and I've got the heart, I've got the drive. And he's got a really great scene in the film that'll make you cheer for him. And I don't know, I love this film. But I also really like basketball films. Like, I really love Glory Road. I like Coach Carter. So I was prone to like this film. I don't, you know, I may like it more than you. So I'm going to give Shooting Stars an A. It made me feel really good about myself. It really just, like, it was nice and warm and fuzzy, and told a narrative from beginning, middle to end. The actors were all good. I didn't have a problem with any of the child actors. I thought the basketball scenes were well described. In general, I thought the narration was pretty good. The only question that I had was, how big is everybody? Where are we at? Who's taller than who? Because that can be a really important thing when you're playing this age group of basketball. In the NBA, you won't find a whole lot of small people, and usually when they are, they're point. So, yeah, it's kind of something I did want to know a little bit more about. But I think it's a great directorial effort from a director who basically just directs a lot of music videos and TV. And hopefully we'll get to see more from him in the future. Yes, he had some great groundwork laid for him between, I guess, the book that he used and the fact that he can just watch the documentary. It was easy for him, but that doesn't mean that the final product isn't worth watching. So, please check this out. It's on Peacock. It's part of your Peacock subscription. I think you'll like it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I've got a website, macthemovieguy.com. You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram, macthemovieguy. You can go to the audio description project, adp.acb.org. It'll let you know what is audio description and where you can watch it. And you can go to the ADNA.org. That's the ADNA.org. And it will let you know who's narrating your favorite films and television series. That's it for me today. And I will review something else for you guys and see you on the other side.